Welcome back, everybody, to an early edition of the Crewcast. Cole, as we record this on a Monday. Wait, technically it's Monday morning, dude. So it's not just Monday. It's Monday morning, man. That's real. Usually we're like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday on these suckers. But
Late afternoons.
yes, dude. But hey, we are men of our word. We said last week we were going to do one coming out of the weekend, right? This is a big weekend. And then we're going to knock out another one later in the week. So this will be a shorter edition of the Crewcast, but hey, you're gonna get 2 for 1 this week, so be happy, man. And everybody, first off, let's do some housekeeping. Like the video, please, and subscribe to the channel. That we keep getting those numbers going up, and we want to keep getting those numbers going up. And hit up primeshrimp.com. You see our sponsor right above us, primeshrimp.com. $20 off your first order. Promo code OrangeBloods. They've got the new lemon pepper shrimp, the Alfredo, the Cajun. It's all fantastic, man. So get you some prime shrimp at primeshrimp.com. Money back guarantee on that. You'll love it. We promise. Gets delivered right to your front door. And it's even sent in a badass cooler with like dry ice. Yeah. I mean, even the packaging of it is amazing. So try out Prime Shrimp. I promise, people, if you like shrimp, you'll love Prime Shrimp. Cole, let's get right down to it, dude. Busy weekend in Austin. We previewed it last week. Let's kind of summarize things this weekend. 3 official visitors. Actually, let's call it 2.5 official visitors, which is weird, but we'll get to that in a second. And then a bunch of unofficial visitors. Let's start off talking about the official visitors. And then I just want to talk about the general vibe that we've kind of picked up of the weekend. Yeah. So the official visitors, Cole, of course, you had Jalen Hale, the wide receiver from Longview. You had Tausili Akana, the linebacker from Utah. It's kind of near the parks or the Salt Lake City area, Lehigh, Utah, Skyridge High School, near the Salt Lake City area. I looked that up just in case he winds up committing to Texas. Hey, I can fly into Salt Lake City and then make the short drive to Lehigh and check out the mountains, go see Tausili Akana. And then Deuce Robinson, the receiver out of Arizona, didn't wind up making it in. I'll touch on him in a little bit, but let's start with Jalen Hale. Things have been pretty quiet with Jalen. I was scheduled to talk to his dad, and I'm sure his dad was tired and busy, but we were not able to connect yesterday. I have no reason to think, Cole, and I mean, just kind of scutterbutt talking to other people. I want to hear it directly from Jalen or his dad before I fully buy in, but I got to think Texas made a heck of an impression just with that atmosphere, the game week. We kind of felt like Texas was in a good spot coming into this one, right? People were worried, like, what if Alabama goes out and blows out Texas? Because Alabama seems to be Texas's biggest threat. That didn't happen. The Texas receivers, played pretty well for the most part. Obviously, there's some quarterback issues there. Changed the game plan up a little bit. But just, I think, a tremendous weekend overall for Texas. I think Jalen Hale came out of that feeling pretty good, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, we felt confident about Texas going into the weekend. But, there has been some talk and, around the scenes and just what other people think. And, Alabama definitely made a move. And Texas really needed to, put their best foot forward on Saturday. And they seemed to do just that. You mentioned the quarterback, injury, all of that. But the atmosphere was great. All the recruits loved it. The offense and, all-around performance was, really eye-opening. They went toe-to-toe to Alabama. They honestly should have won that game, had chances to kind of put that game away or at least, win that game in the final minute if they could get to stop.
Cough, so, yeah. bad calls, bad calls, by the way.
Yeah. I didn't want to call it out, but yeah. The face mask, all of that. Yeah, for sure. But they definitely put their best foot forward, you would have to imagine. We'll touch on it real quick. I did talk to Jonte Cook on Saturday night after his game, and he said he and Arch FaceTimed during the Texas game, and he told me he was going to call Jalen Hale as soon as he could, as soon as his game ended at DeSoto, and that's his guy. That's the guy that he really believes is going to join him at Texas. Obviously they're good friends. We'll see what happens there. But there's a lot going for Texas, and you would have to think they got some momentum back in their favor coming out of Saturday.
Yeah, 9 days away from his announcement, he'll visit A&M this coming weekend. I don't think A&M was much of a factor coming in. A&M losing to Appalachian State certainly can't help their chances. One thing I thought Jeff Ketchum made a mention of in his 10 thoughts from the weekend. I was like, yeah, that's a good thing. A good point. I hadn't really thought about that. The Alabama receivers were not good in that game. Yeah. If there's any one potential negative, it could be that Jalen Hale watched that game thinking, man, I could walk in right into Alabama and play right away. Although I think he's probably good enough. He probably feels that about Texas or Texas A&M or anywhere else too. So, we'll keep working on Jalen. I'm going to try to reach out to his dad again today, and hopefully we'll have a more detailed report on Orange Bloods coming out of this visit, and maybe even tonight. I'm hoping to get a hold of his dad today. I did talk to Tausili Akana, which I'll be honest was a huge shock to me. It's Sunday afternoon. I think I'd just watched my Steelers almost give me a heart attack when in their first game against the Cincinnati Bengals. Hey, shout out to my Steelers there. But I called Tausili, and he never answers my calls. And I don't bombard him. I've probably called him 3 or 4 times, but he's never answered. He'll respond to a text. Like every 4 texts I send him, he'll respond to like every 4th one, but it usually takes him like 3 or 4 days, right? And this isn't me. I'm not.
Makes you wait a little bit.
What's that? He's what?
Makes you wait a little bit.
Yeah, he does. Makes me, exactly. And it's usually just like quick hitters, like, hey, dude, are you visiting for this game? Yes, I am. But I'm sure he's busy, and he's just not really, really big into interviews and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I'm not holding against the guy. It's kind of the norm anymore. But I called him yesterday afternoon. I was surprised, Cole, he picked up my call. I was like shocked. I was like, whoa, I wasn't really prepared for this. So super, like first time I'd actually talked to him on the phone, man. Super nice kid, was very generous and gracious with his time. He was still in Austin, but we talked, and great visit overall. He said he loved the game atmosphere. I mean, everybody we talked to said that. He loved the way the defense was flying around to the ball. All 11, he said, chasing the ball. He goes, that's the kind of the defense I want to play in. And he's got upcoming visits coming. LSU's next. Then I forget the order. After that, it's either Oklahoma and then A&M, or A&M and then Oklahoma. I can't remember, but he's got 3 other visits following this Texas visit, looking at a December decision. So I still think he's pretty open. He did tell me he's pretty open, but the comment that kind of stood out, and I don't have the exact quotes. Well, actually, yeah, I do. I pulled up here. He said, quote, I would definitely say that they, meaning Texas, moved up a lot, end quote. So, he told me he's still open to all 4 of those schools he's going to visit. You could even see a 5th school, maybe a more local school like a Utah or someone else like that, kind of get in the mix. But as of right now, he's got those 4 visits, including the visit he just took to Texas. Sounds like Texas made a heck of an impression. I checked in with a Texas source. They kind of felt the same way. They said, hey, they feel like they knocked it out of the park. They've just got to keep playing good football, they think, in order to win Tausili Akana over. Now, the last official visitor, Cole, was Deuce Robinson, Phoenix Pinnacle tight end, right? Mm-hmm. Deuce is a tough dude to track down. He doesn't talk. I've been reaching out to his mom, trying to get updates. She hasn't responded. So I've really been running into a brick wall. I've been leaning on Adam Gorney a little bit on this one too. But I asked someone in Austin on that side of things. I said, did Deuce end up making it in? Because his game last weekend was supposed to be on Friday night. They had lightning storms, thunderstorms. It got pushed to Saturday. So his team ended up playing on Saturday, got thumped on Saturday. Honestly, he probably wishes he would have skipped the game. But so he did not make it on his official visit. Now, what I was told, his parents still went ahead and came in, though. So I thought that was really interesting. And I don't know the dynamics, how that works, man. Like, if his parents used the Texas tickets in the hotel, I would still assume that counts for an official visit. If they just flew in on their own dime and just used game tickets, then no, then his official visit would still be out there. He could retake it. I would assume they probably just flew in and went to the game and kind of soaked up the atmosphere, probably talked to the coaches, but no Deuce Robinson in Austin this weekend, but apparently his parents were there. So that's, I guess, a good sign for Texas.
I'd be bad, but it's definitely an interesting.
Yeah. I mean, with the way Texas played in the environment, it can't be bad. But in 20 whatever, I've lost count years of covering recruiting, I always say, man, every time you think you've seen everything in recruiting, something new pops up. I have never seen.
That's a new one for sure.
That's a new one. I've never seen or heard of this scenario where a guy has to cancel at the last minute, but his parents, an out-of-state guy. No, it'd be different if he was in Houston or Waco or something. Then okay, yeah, you cruise down and parents go to the game. But his parents came in from Phoenix apparently to just see the sights and watch the game and experience Austin. So good for them, man. So
good game to get tickets to.
Absolutely. That's like people on Orange Bloods on our message board were saying, like, well, why the hell would they not come in for that game? It's like, yeah, seriously. You've got the means to get on a flight and get there. Why not, man? Yeah. So But overall, Cole, you and I spent Saturday night, even some of Sunday, reaching out to, I mean, there were tons and tons of guys at that game. Every single one, right, was like, oh my goodness, it was amazing. Best game I've ever been to. Tremendous experience. Texas fought way harder than I thought they would. The crowd was incredible. So, I don't know that this game and this performance by Texas and losing to Alabama by 1 point at the last second is going to lead to a windfall of commitments or anything crazy like that. But I certainly think it put Texas in a good space with a lot of police players, really laid a good foundation that they can build upon with some of these 2024s, 2025s. I know you talk to a lot of guys as well. So just your kind of thoughts on the overall impact of this game, Cole.
Yeah, I think it opened a lot of recruits' eyes, especially those that did make it in, even guys that, weren't in attendance that watched the game on TV and just kind of followed it along on social media and everything like that. It seemed like it caught a lot of people attention. Texas showed they can compete with the national champ or the national championship contender, Nick Saban and that Alabama squad, the Heisman Trophy winner. We talked to a lot of guys. Everybody was saying how crazy the atmosphere was, how impressed they were by the defense. Offensive recruits were blown away by how Quinn looked. So it was a really positive impression. It's about as good as what you could have hoped for without a win. But yeah, it was a pretty big statement by Texas to kind of have. We were talked about it last week. Touched on if Texas needed to win, if they need to cover the big spread and everything like that. And I think they kind of exceeded almost everybody's expectations right from the start. So it's a big weekend to have all those recruits on campus.
Yeah, certainly exceeded my expectations. I've got egg on my face because I picked Bama to A, put up a lot of points, and B, win pretty easily. So
you're far from the only one.
Yeah, exactly. But I will gladly admit on one like this, I was wrong, and I'm glad to be wrong on this one. You're right, man. They exceeded expectations. I just jotted down a couple of the notes. Like David Kabongo said, 2024 athlete, best game I've ever been to. I definitely want to play in that type of atmosphere. Jordan Johnson Rebel, bright future ahead for Texas. They showed a lot of potential to be national champions. Landon Rink, 2025 defensive lineman whose dad played at Texas. I loved it out there. 10 of 10 experience, best college game I've ever watched. Darian Gillette, Texas is definitely winning the Big 12 easily. All right, Darren, I'm going to say, let's hold off a little bit on that, especially with Quinn Ewers being out for a month or better. But you just see what kind of confidence they built up. Micah Hudson, the 5-star receiver, great atmosphere in Austin. A lot of nice Texas fans. The game was close, but Texas didn't stop cheering once. Parker Livingstone, a receiver that Texas has offered, quote, "It was insane. The atmosphere was crazy. I've never seen anything like it before." And it goes on and on and on. We had a list of the visitors on Orange Bloods, and we connected with a good number of them.
Along those same lines, John Tay Cook, talking to him after the game, he did not shy away from how confident he is. He told me Texas is going to run the table, win the Big 12 championship, and maybe sneak into the college football playoffs. So that's kind of the impression that Texas made on some of these guys.
I'm always the guy on Orange Bloods, okay? Not with you, Cole, but with our more football staff, not our recruiting staff. And they're like, after one game, like, hey, this is going to happen, or this guy's going to be a first-round pick, or this team's going to go undefeated. I'm always like, I'm like, slow down, everybody. We need more than 1 week, right? That's always
great if that happens.
Yeah, they make fun of me, like, hey, you're always the slow down, hit the brakes guy. But you know what? I'm not in total disagreement with John Tay on this one, dude. The injury situation is going to make things tricky. But if Texas was healthy, if Quinn Ewers was healthy, Hudson Card was healthy, if we knew Bijan was fully healthy, Deshaun Jameson, I kind of said it after the game. I'm like, someone said, if Texas plays like the defense plays like it did in that game, they will be in the Big 12 championship game. And I said, no. If they play like that, they'll go undefeated the rest of the way, and they will win the Big 12 championship. I mean, that team looked really good on Saturday. Before, when Quinn Ewers went down, that certainly impacted things. But I'm not going to sit here and say, "Hey, John Tay, slow down, dude," because I don't think he's too far off. I mean, the health considerations are something you have to account for.
That's a big obstacle, but that defense was amazing, and saw the playmakers is pretty evident.
Yeah, and they're going to need that defense this week. A good UTSA team coming to Austin. We don't even, I mean, Quinn's out, Hudson Card, we don't know what his status is as we record this. So, I mean, there'll be some tricky landmines that Texas has to navigate, but you certainly saw the talent on both sides of the ball. And when this team is fully healthy, what it's capable of. And I would reckon if it's healthy, I think it's as good as any team in the Big 12 for sure from what we've seen through the first couple of weeks. So, Cole, we're going to keep this one short and sweet, buddy. We're at about 15 minutes, and we will put a wrap on this one. We'll be back later in the week, though. We'll record another one kind of maybe talking about some of the games you saw last week, some of the guys that I talked to this week. Hopefully maybe Jalen Hale, if I can get a hold of him or his father, we'll have a little bit more to talk about there. So as I requested earlier, please like the video, subscribe to our Orange Bloods YouTube channel. Also, please go get you some prime shrimp. Enjoy that easy to make, easy cleanup, delicious restaurant quality shrimp. Use that promo code, $20 off if you use promo code Orange Blood. So with Cole Patterson, I'm Jason Suchomel. Thanks to Blake Skaggs, our producer, for helping put this stuff together. Cole, thank you for your time, buddy, and we will talk later in the week and hopefully have more information on some of these visitors to bring to the viewers later this week. Everybody take care.